Welcome to the Strong as Fuck podcast. I'm your host, Kenny Santucci, and join us for some strong conversations.
Cool.
So we made it over the hump. We've done over 20 podcasts. They say most podcasts don't even make it to the 10th episode. But here we are in my brand new gym. It's called the Strength Club New Jersey, right here in Caldwell. And I wanted to bring on a guy who has a very special story. A new friend of mine. We've become pretty close over the past couple of years. And he has been changing the landscape in New Jersey. His gym's in New Jersey, so I decided to bring him on because he has a fantastic story that I want you guys to hear, and I want to share with you guys all. So ladies and gentlemen, my new buddy, Devon Levesque.
What's up, brother?
Dev,
thank
you so much for coming on.
Thank you, my brother.
Unbelievable guy.
Thank you.
When I first saw this guy jump on the scene, I go, who the fuck's this kid doing backflips and crazy shit on a treadmill? I go, oh, he's like more of a circus guy than anything else. And then when you get to know him, I'm like, all right, that's what it is. That's what everybody sees.
Yeah.
You've done some really crazy shit.
Yep. Crazy.
Where'd all this start, right? Because I know you worked, and I know a little bit of background. I know some people might know the background a little bit. You worked in nightlife. You got into the fitness space.
Yep.
Blew the fuck up, right? Because there's definitely a pecking order. Everybody starts to size everybody up when you're in the gym world. It's the egos of everybody who works in the gym space. You came on the scene. You blew up. You were at Performance House.
Yeah.
You know, and you're doing your own thing now. You're with Gymshark. You're a huge personality. But how'd you transition from that, you know, the nightlife world into the fitness space?
Yeah, well, I think it actually all started with fitness because my father was a pro weightlifter. Okay. My mother was a pro arm wrestler.
So you were always in
my whole life. I was doing pull-ups when I was, on the bar at 1. I remember I grew up with a gym in my house, and, it was encouraged to all. I have 4 sisters. It was encouraged by our parents in the middle.
Okay.
Right in the middle. It was encouraged by them to get in the gym, do some squats, do some lunges, do pull-ups, do curls, like go outside, run, go jump on I grew up on a horse farm, and milking cows, like go out, pet the animals, ride them. And so to me, all of that, go down to the lake, go snowboard, that was health. That was longevity. We didn't really have those terms. That was just my life.
Yeah.
And
you grew up in Vermont, right?
I grew up in Idaho and New Hampshire. Yeah.
Okay.
And, I had, like any country boy or most, I want to go to the big city, you know? And so thinking that would be a better, I guess, avenue for me. And I quickly realized after, going to college out here and running nightclubs that, man, I gotta get back on the farm. I gotta get back to wellness and get back to just making my health a top priority. And so I put that first, and then I started building businesses around that. And that's how we started ProMix, and I launched Sweet Honey Farm and All Day Running, and all these different brands. But it was really just around things I like to do anyways. I grew up taking Shaklee vitamins, I don't know if you remember Shaklee, but like my dad would have us take all these different vitamins all morning, and I'm like, these are good, but I think we can create something better, right? So that's kind of how ProMix started. Same thing with Sweet Honey Farm. I'm like, I always wanted to have my own farm, so I found one that's close to the city, close to New York, where I still get the love of New York City because I love New York, right? New York strong.
Yeah.
But I still have access to my farm that I can grow my own food and raise my own animals and harvest them, chickens, cows, etc. So I don't know. I think it starts with health, and it starts with doing things that you like to do, and then schedule everything else around that. Because most people do it backwards. Most people are like, well, let me have work to then maybe I can hire a trainer one day and like I can be healthy. Mm-hmm. But it's opposite. You got to put the things you like and your health first. For me, at least, that's how it worked. You got to put those first and work everything else in.
What I think you've done so well, right? And this is just from the outside, watching you for the past 4 or 5 years, probably even longer. It's got to be longer than that. I think you've done a real good job of, most people want to be in the good rooms, right? The rooms with the most impactful people.
Yeah.
But I think what you do so well is you get into those rooms and you become the most important person in the room. Where does that come from?
Health is wealth. If you're the healthiest person, and not just the strongest person, not the person with the best abs, I'm talking healthy. Are you happy? Do you have anything going on in your mind? Are you personable?
Yeah.
Do you have a good group around you?
Yeah.
Do Do you have clear skin? Do you know, are you happy? You know, are you connecting with not just humans, but animals? I think that's what health is. And I think that's true wealth is when you can be on this planet and go about it and not, a lot of people have to overthink their health. They're like, man, I'm overweight. My skin's breaking out. I can't go to the bathroom. If I can put that aside, I can focus on other things in life. And I truly think that that's wealth, you know? And so I think that's how I get to go into rooms and, you know, people, you know, come to me and, you know, they ask questions. And I'm talking people that are just starting their career and billionaires of the world. They all seek the same advice. How do I become healthier?
Well, I think, you know, from what I've seen, I mean, for those of you guys out there who don't know this, I mean, I've seen you with RFK, I've seen you with Gary Brecka, I've seen you with, you know, major, I don't want to say influencers, but major people in the health and wellness space.
Right.
And they're consulting with you. You know, you've kind of always lived this lifestyle, but you have no traditional experience or
no
background.
traditional, Well, I think it, you know, if you, I'll take an example of, man.
And I don't believe in that. I'm not one to be, I don't have a tradition. I didn't go to school for health and wellness.
I agree. I dropped out of college. I just think there's too many excuses and people wait too long to live on the beach, right? Or live on a farm. Like there's a way, if you want to live on a beach, and people's dream right now is, man, I would love to have a beach house one day. Yo, Kenny, you and I could go get a tent and find a beach somewhere, and we could go live on the beach. It's that simple. That's the basis. But now you start saying, well, I want jet skis and I want this. Well, then, it's probably going to take you a while. But hey, if you really, really, really want to live on a beach, you and I can do it right now. And guess what? We won't have bills. We have a tent. We can fish for food, and that's it, right? And it's a very simple mindset, and too many people make it complicated. It's not that hard to do what you want. You just have to actually put that first. If you don't put that first, then you're living on someone else's agenda. If you don't control your time, someone else is controlling your time. And so I really believe that you have to take what you absolutely love and your absolute no matter what, and I talk about this a lot, my absolute no matter what is family, health, community, freedom of time, and giving back. And if you don't have those values as a human, if you don't have your own values, they don't have to be mine, they have to be yours. Maybe, you know, people listening, you have 5 different values. That's cool, but live by them. Don't deviate outside. The thing with Navy SEALs, they don't deviate outside of their plan. They stick to the plan. Don't deviate outside of what your values are. I like to use 5 because it's not too many, it's not too little, but it's 5 values I can back into when I make decisions. We as humans make 250,000 decisions every week. Every week. We're at this gym opening, there's all these people here. There's cameras, there's lights. Where do we set up for the podcast? Do I buy that? Do I get this? Do I drink that? There's so many decisions. And when I can make every little tiny decision down to what coffee shop am I going to based on my values? Does this coffee shop believe in my values? If they don't, I'm not going there. Maybe Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts don't really believe in my values, so I'm gonna go to this little boutique one where I know the owner and he's like, he or she is cool and they believe in this. Now I'm just surrounding myself with people with similar values versus similar industry. If I put you in a room with 100 different gym owners, you might get along with 5 of them. Doesn't mean you're best friend just because you're in the same industry. And too many of us as humans, we surround ourselves with work friends. You know, people in the same industry as if, we're all trying to do the same thing. No, surround yourself with real friends, with people that have similar values. And that's what we do at Sweet Honey, you know?
I think you've done a really good job of, you know, narrowing in exactly what you want. I think there's a lot of people out there, and I'm sure some people are going to listen to this, and it's going to kick them right in the balls. And most people don't know what they want at it. And I think you understand what your value system is. Your emotional intelligence is skyrocket, right? Because most people think like, I want to be successful. I have to be really smart and I have to know how to invest it. But I think your emotional intelligence is pretty fucking high.
Thank you.
And you know exactly what you want. Could you explain to people exactly what you want? Because I think you have that already figured out. What you want out of life. Like, what is your plan? Because if you ask most people, they don't know what they want.
They don't. If most people, they think success, they think they know what their success is, what success is going to mean to them. And it normally is money, right? My success, and it's a serious question, everyone listening, and I have with myself all the time. What does success mean to me? Success means to me, freedom of time and being myself 100% of the time. To no matter what, to you, to the president of the United States, to the homeless guy over here. If I can be myself 100% of the time, I'm happy. Yeah. That is full happiness. And if I can own my time, the last 10 minutes of you and I talking, we're never going to get that back. And I think about that a lot of every single action I take in life. The drive I took here, now sitting down, grabbing, some deload of it. Every little second I think about because I'm never getting it back.
Yeah.
So I better be pretty serious about how I'm spending every second, or it's just going to be gone. Yeah. It's going to be gone.
So was money ever the objective in your life?
No, it's freedom of time. Yeah. I've had millions of dollars transferred to my account and I haven't been happy. And I've had $0 in my account and I've been happy, right? Yeah. And I think it's not money, it's freedom. Mm-hmm. It's how can I own my time and not let anyone else control my time. And even in school, I used to get in trouble because I'm all anxious in middle school and high school. And, I got kicked out of a couple of schools and I transitioned to 5 different high schools. I dropped out of college. It was people owning my time. And school's very good at teaching you how to work, but it's not good at teaching you how to be a leader, right? It teaches you how to do what everyone else is doing. And you can go into a big corporation. You can let someone tell you what to do and you can follow these steps, but it doesn't teach you how to be a really good leader and do what you want and own your time. And so I was always stubborn with that. And I think back to your first question, it's honestly how I was able to separate. And that stubbornness is what helps me shine in room because I'm sitting in a gym right now in cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. I don't give a fuck. It's just like, this is who I am. You. Like I'm not, and I think the confidence needs to be embedded in people and you gotta know what you want. Most people, they want $100 million. They don't know what to do with that $100 million. Yeah. That's a real shit.
Yeah.
They really don't.
It's so interesting because I know you have an inner circle group. People could join and kind of chat with you and stuff. You have the farm, you have, congratulations on the Pro Mix acquisition. But I think that's a huge point is that most people don't know what they would do if you gave them all the money.
You know what I do with my money? I do trips with my friends. I help my family out. I invest in my friends and fund companies. Right. And I make sure that I have enough in the account that no matter what, I can do what I want when I want. And if I want to tell someone no, I can. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, a hot topic for a lot of people is like mental strain, right? Or mental illness. I think you have a really impressive way of showing how mentally strong you could be. When I first heard you were bear crawling a marathon, I go, what the fuck is the point of that?
Yeah.
But there's got to be a level of
grit. It's understanding. I try to do one thing every year since the bear crawl where,
I think the Everest thing is just as impressive.
Summiting Everest.
If not more.
Yeah, biking across America, summiting Everest, doing an expedition with SpaceX in Antarctica. All these things.
Is this bucket list things or are these just things?
Everest was bucket list. Everest was bucket list. Everything else kind of just happened. Yeah. And I think with these challenges that I put myself through, it's physical, but way more mental.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think that's what, it's more mental grit.
Your body's not going to give out. I'm telling you right now, the body is so impressive. The human body, if you can take care of it, it's really remarkable you watch people on Earth and how insane some of these snowboarders are in extreme sports. Scientists, like the human body is so smart and it can heal. It's almost like we are all Wolverines. Like we can heal fast. We can go through shit.
I say that all the time. And if we're built to it.
The brain, it's the brain that always gives up. It's, my feet were frozen on Everest for 12 hours and I'm like, holy shit, I'm seeing people dying and but the brain's not stopping. I know this is temporary. All of it. Everything in life is temporary. Even life. Life is temporary. We're not here for a million years.
We have a finite amount of time and we should do as much as we can.
It's all temporary, right? And so I think pain is temporary. It's climbing Everest was temporary. Bear crawling a marathon. It's temporary. I'm going to get out of it. And by the way, if I do die, it was all temporary anyway. So it's like, if you put that mindset of it's going to be temporary, then your brain starts to think, well, it's going to be over. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, I can do this. It's just one step at a time. Then it's calming. Marcus Aurelius has an amazing quote. The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he comes to real strength. So it's not how much you can lift in the gym. It's how can you and I calm our brain and think about this conversation at once. Not the kid jumping off there, not the what, not like, what.
Yeah.
How can we think about one thing at a time? And that's what Marcus Aurelius talks about. That's the ultimate strength, is when we can control up here. Because when we can control up here, literally anything is possible. You can do anything.
Yeah.
The world is filled with 8 billion people. It's huge. There's so much to do. And if you can calm your mind and control this, oh man, it's infinite. You can do whatever you want.
I mean, I would have never projected, I would have never seen this as your trajectory in the fitness space when I first heard about you and knew who you were. Where did you think you were going?
I knew I was going here. Yeah, I knew, I think since I was in military academy, I'm like, and honestly, maybe even in middle school, I was like, I have a different purpose on this earth, and it's not to follow the crowd. It's not to do what people are telling me what to do. It's to impact people in a positive way. When my dad took his life, I was 16, and he was the saddest human I ever watched for the last year of his life. And you know
what was that?
July 18th, 2008.
And what do you think was going on? Because my dad passed away not too long ago, too, and he was a sad guy for a long time. He was sad.
I think he felt that he might have lost purpose a little bit. I think men and women find purpose a lot with their family and being able to give to their family and to support. And I think he started to lose that when he was going through a divorce, and the government was taking the kids away and was requesting all this money and all this shit, and he started to lose purpose. And I think that was a big reason. Some people say CTE because he played college football, but CTE?
Yeah.
CTE. And I don't know, I gave a commitment when I was 16, 17 that I want to help people wake up happier. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to do it my way. And I've seen people become happier when they take care of their body. Yeah. Hence why I got into training. I've seen people very happy when they were in the nightclubs that I used to run. Mm-hmm. I see people happier when, they come to a farm and they pet an animal and immediately your cortisol levels drop. And so my purpose is to help people wake up happier and never see that sad face that he had. And so I didn't know how I was going to do it. I was never looking monetarily. I was looking more almost like hospitality. Like, how can I help people? How can I be there? How can I listen? How can I help them out? Because that's what gives me a good feeling, right?
Well, that's right. I mean, you touch on something so important. And I think part of the theme of what I want to do this year with Strong is, focus on that word purpose, right? Like, I think everybody needs a purpose, and helping people find a purpose is so important, because when you see people walk through life that really don't have a destination or don't have a purpose, they're kind of sad, they're unhappy, they really don't know why they get up in the morning.
Right. And it goes to, look, whatever the career is, there's people that just genuinely love going into an office, and they like the structure, and they like grabbing their coffee in the morning, and they like going in, and they like reporting to someone because they have structure, and they like being able to do that work. There's some people that are like, fuck that, I want to do my own thing, and that's my purpose. There's some people that are like, I want to live in a tent, that's my purpose. I want to make sandcastles. It doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
But it's like what you want to do. What is your purpose, And I was thinking about this the other day, because my mom, man, she helps take care of the animals on the farm, and I'm like, Mom, you're always working. Like, you don't have to work. Like, I have people to help with this. And she's like, no, I want to. And I'm like, no, I promise you don't have to. I literally, like, people are doing this. And she's like, Devin, this is my purpose, though. Yeah. I like animals more than humans. And I'm like, this is her purpose. Yeah. And so now, rather than me getting all frustrated and trying to help my mom retire, and not have to do anything, she would actually be more depressed if she stopped.
Yeah.
She would be more depressed if she stopped working. And I think a lot of us, essentially why, people are 65 and then boom, they stop working, they start, Sudoku, and they start going in the pool every day, and they get dementia. They're not firing their brain. They don't have purpose. Their brain starts to rot.
Yeah.
You got to keep it going. And I think it's just keep it going, but with things that you freaking love, and whatever that is, do that.
Mm. No, I think that's so true. I mean, I used to work at a shipping yard in Jersey. I watched 3 family members pass away after other family members died because they literally lost their way. They had nothing going on, and they start dementia, Alzheimer, all this stuff starts to happen when you start to lose that purpose. For my mom as well, I'm like, I want to make sure she doesn't have to do anything. But in reality, I have her come here, and I'm like, take care of the gym, hang with the kids, watch people, work out. They need to. I think we have this mentality, or it's an old type of mentality, to be like, hey, I want to make her life as easy as possible. Right. But in reality, that struggle that she's enjoying is the best thing for her.
And I bet you she was the best mother, and she used to take care of you guys. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you grow up and now you're taking care of yourself.
Now she's like,
to do. Well, who the hell do I take care of now? And now it's like, okay, well, help them actually do that versus, man, when a mom has a child and they get this motherly instinct and they start taking care of someone, they're going to have that for the rest of their life. Hence why our moms don't stop calling us every day. Like they want to take care of us. It's not taking that away from them. It's actually giving it back to them in different ways. Maybe it's not so much us, but maybe it's with other people. And I think everyone has that purpose, but it's how can you trigger that on every minute of the day where you feel good about yourself and you're doing what you love, you know?
Well, I mean, I'm keep throwing flowers on you, but there's a lot to actually give to you because even with the company, right? You started from, I knew Albert years ago, and he had the company, and he was doing some really good stuff with it, but I think you were the catalyst that shot him through the roof and made it happen.
Thank you. It takes a team, though. He makes amazing formulations.
He's the product guy.
He makes all the products. I market it and create the names and test them and make sure the right people have it and the awareness. And you can't have a company if no one's coming in, right? And so we're perfect. We are perfect.
For me, Christy's here and she helps me do all the logistic shit. I'm horrible at that. And I think you were you became the face of the brand and really launched it into the stratosphere. Having no prior experience. So when you first took that on, were you like, hey, I could really do this? Did you have full belief that
I knew? I knew. I love the psychology of humans within consumer products. I love it. I love understanding a consumer's journey. Where are they seeing the product? Is it guerrilla marketing? Is it word of mouth? Are they trying it physically? Was someone telling them about it? Where did they see it? Was it an ad? Was it an Instagram post? Was it a billboard? It takes consumers on average 7 times to see a logo or a product before they actually buy the product. And so I think about that a lot within marketing. And I just knew it just needed to be out there in different ways. The thing with it being now 2025 and having all this AI and having different tools for Shopify and different tools for marketing is you have to constantly stay ahead of the game and relevant, right? It's content everywhere. You need as much content as possible, but then it's what channels? How do I get it on? And content might just be this, right? This is content. Just holding the bottle and me walking around is content.
Yeah.
So it's getting it out there as much as possible and not following what everyone else is doing. Most people are doing, all right, we're going to have, SMS marketing, some text messages, some email, and we're going to have a shitty Instagram. And, we'll post a couple times a week and that'll get out. Yeah. I'm one, I'll overdose all 3 of those, right? Not to the point to annoy people, but more to the point they're there. But then it's how can we get creative? Mm-hmm. How can we do pop-up events? Can we, fly someone out to Alaska to go, with grizzly bears? And is it a different experience? Is there aspirational content? I look at marketing very, very untraditionally. I'm not following the script at all. I'm kind of just doing what feels good to me and what's authentic to me, and then we make it happen. There's too many strategy people. There's too many people all right, sitting in a room, all right, guys, this is a strategy for the year. What about the motherfuckers that have to execute? What about getting down to the details of making sure that ProMix is at strong right now as we're talking? There's someone over there with the actual packets, having the education, talking about making sure not just the bottles, but the caps are here. I'm talking about every little detail. Do we have enough water to give people? Do we have ice so it's cold when they taste it? It's oh, wow. Is there a QR code? Every little detail. Not enough people are in the trenches running their business. They're running strategy. And then they make this huge strategy and it's unobtainable. It's so unobtainable.
Well, I think there's a lot of people who always see this dream, they probably see what you're doing, and they're like, oh, well, he's probably hands off, he's not as involved. But I was down at the farm, you're there. I never not see you. You're on fucking the top of Mount Everest, eating bars and drinking. I'm this guy's really dialed into the shit.
Dialed.
And it's so impressive because, even for my own brand, it's like, all right, I always have to be wearing it. Like people are always like, you're always in your gear. I'm like, I have to. I go, I'm the guy leading the charge with this brand. I have to live the brand. But there's a lot of people who think like when they get to your level, they were like, all right, I made the money, now I check out.
No. I think that's the biggest problem with a lot of, and everyone listening, this is a big no-no. You can't try and sell a company and expect to leave. That is going to give the acquirer a really bad taste in their mouth. They need to know, yo, I'm doing this with or without you.
Yeah.
I'm telling these PE firms, I'm telling people that were interested in buying us, yo, look, you can come in, but I'm doing this with or without you. We're going to blow this fucker up. I promise you.
So you're
and if
still
you want to come
involved.
on, you're very involved.
Yeah.
If you want to come on this train, we're going to the moon. And if you don't, that's okay. The people that go into these meetings or go into a company saying, I'm going to start this and I'm going to sell it in 5 years and I'm out and I'm going to retire. That is a shitty outlook. You have to want to be involved and want to grow it. If I told you right now, hey, I'm starting a gym, I'm going to start it and then I'm selling it to you, but I'm fucking out, you'd be like, well, Dev, like I want you in the team, and like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And not so much to where the company depends on the owner, but to a point where they still have the support, right? A business isn't a business if it doesn't run on its own and grow on its own. It's really just a hobby, or it's a job that we just bought. And so I think about systems when we set up our businesses where if I do get removed from it, it's still growing. I personally like to be involved. I think this is fun. I drink this, I take this, I'm naturally using this. Why wouldn't I want to be involved in it? And it also gives me purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people see companies, I hear about it all the time, especially with gyms. People are like, all right, I'm going to set up this strategy and I'm going to dump it, because that's what I want to do. But for me, I'm like, well, my family's here, my friends are here. I eat, sleep, live this brand. If I was to work out, this is the way I would work out. And I think you do that as well.
Yes.
Like you're living on the farm. You're doing that. You're living this this dream that I think a lot of people have, but really don't know how to acquire it.
Yeah.
Or don't know how to live it. But like you become that aspirational figure in their lives, and they're like, well, I want to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
And how do I now go and do that? And I think that's what makes you so magnetic, is because now you have a place for people to go.
Yeah.
The farm, and you're coming up with a couple more. You got a couple more.
Nashville. We're going to do Colorado, Nashville.
Holy shit.
That's all right. We'll cut it out. Actually, I like it. It's good. It's a good cameo.
A lot of these old ladies don't even realize
it's a good
they're in front
cameo.
of the camera.
I have Sweet Farm, Jersey, New Jersey. It's like 45 minutes outside New York.
I'm a member now.
Yeah, founding member. Let's go, baby. Let's go. And then Nashville's going to open, and then Colorado. So those would be the first three.
Why the towns? Because you have Austin, you have Jersey.
Yeah, Austin. It's my ranch. It's Cedar Trunk Ranch. We rent it out for weddings and stuff. I might transition that into a Sweet Honey.
Okay.
Hush hush. You guys are the first to know, but we'll see. The reason those other cities is we have over 10,000 people on the wait list, and a lot of those people are from Nashville and Colorado.
No shit.
And so that's the thing with building brands. Build from within. Don't just, well, I want to be in this market because it's cool. No, take care. You take care of your 500 members here, and you take care of those 500 members. You're not looking at the other 10,000 people. You're saying, how can I help these 500 people? Okay, they want ProMix, let's get ProMix in here. They want sandbags, let's get sandbags in here. You're not, just because CrossFit's cool or High Rocks is cool. No, you're listening to your 500 people, and that's how you build a brand. And so we're constantly listening from within. And so, hey, if Sweet Honey and the first, founding members that are in Jersey are saying, hey, we want to do Nashville, Colorado, now we have a wait list. Now there's over 10,000 people that want those as well. Listen to them. Why would I try to just randomly go to Miami or LA?
We talk about business all the time on the podcast. I've had so many different people from all different businesses. And that's like one of the most important things that I think a lot of people don't execute on is, all right, I need more members. I need more people. I need to bring in more people. But why not service the ones you have really well?
And also why? Like, why do you want more? You know, more is more stressful. More money is more stressful. More things. I'm thinking simple. I'm like, hit the cap, good, done. It's running on its own. I have my freedom of time. We're good. Everyone wants more, but you have to ask yourself a question like, why? Like, why do you want more? Is it to have more money? Well, why the fuck do you want more money? Really tell me. Everyone listening, why? Honest question to yourself. Why do you want more money? And most people are like, well, then I don't have to work. Well, it goes back to what we first said. Well, then you're not going to have purpose. So it's like you're in this circle. It doesn't. It doesn't
that's
make
such
sense.
a good point.
You know?
And like we said before, I mean, most people, it's like if you gave them $100 million, you'd be like, all right, what would you buy with it? They're like, I don't know.
I don't know.
So
now you have, okay, cool. You have 100 cars. You can only drive one car at a time, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, like, what do you need all this for?
Well, so for you, it's like you've bear crawled a marathon, you've climbed Mount Everest, you've biked across the country, you've sold a company. Most people haven't done that in 60 years, 70 years. You've done it all by 35.
32.
32. Yeah, I know, but you haven't even been 35
Okay,
yet, right?
cool.
Yeah, I'm saying like most people would love to do that by 45.
Yeah.
What's next for you? Like, where do you go from here? Because you've done so much already.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was at the World Cup in Qatar, and I'll bring this full circle. I was at the World Cup in Qatar with the royal family in a box, watching Messi score the goal for the most watched sport ever game in history. It was like 3.5 billion people were watching it. Then I went to Antarctica, and then I rode my bike across America, and I did all those things back to back. And when I was riding across America, I think I was in Arizona, I was thinking, I'm like, damn, I forgot I even went to the World Cup. And so sometimes you have to spread these things out or you forget all these cool things, you know, and things you want to do. So right now, I summited Everest May 21st of 2024. I'm giving this year just a sec because that was crazy. I'm going to do Denali next summer. But right now, I'm kind of just chilling this year, focusing on Pro Mix. Jesse Itzler and I are going to Finland for 10 days to do 40 saunas in 10 days, sauna tour, so with some of our buddies. We have Running Man Festival later this year, which you're going to be at. We're going to do a whole strong thing.
Yeah,
and yeah, I don't know. I'm taking this year in just to not do any crazy adventures, not climb any mountains, not do any. I just want to soak in what the last couple of years has been, because if I go right into it, I'm going to forget I just sold Promix. I'm going to forget I just summited Everest. I'm going to forget I did it. And that's not fun either. So it's like there is a balancing act of doing extreme things and all these crazy things. You gotta let it marinate for a sec.
Well, one of the craziest things I remember you telling me, we were at the UFC fight, and we were talking about when you were up on Everest.
Yeah.
And you said one of the Sherpas kind of gave you a little bit of a nudge.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was coming out of the Kumbo Ice Fall, and man, it was crazy. There was about 30 Sherpas around us, and they wouldn't let me up on the line. And I go to like kind of not nudge, but I'm like, I'm also up here. I'm exhausted. I got to get up as well. And everyone just kept cutting in front of me, the Nepalese. And Sean, who I was with, he's like, yo, don't try to go in front. Just let them go. He's like, they'll cut your line. They'll throw you in. And so I never knew that on Everest. Like, you do have to kind of watch your back a little bit.
I don't know
most
why.
People
know that.
Yeah, I don't either. I didn't know that. Most time you're thinking, okay, well, what gear do I have? I hope I don't freeze. I hope I have enough oxygen. But there's so many other variables on Everest. It's the weather. It's the food. A lot of people get colds. A lot of people, you get, frostbite. Some people run out of food. Some people are up too high and they have to get, they die. I mean, they're just too high and they don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
So I never thought that I'd have to deal with other human interaction and debacles with them. I think it goes back to 1953 when Tenzing Norway and Sir Edmund Hillary summited Everest for the first time. One was Nepalese, one was like a Westerner from the UK. And everyone knows of Sir Edmund Hillary of summiting first. No one put Tenzing Norway on the pedestal. And so I think the Nepalese, Everest is split in half. China owns half, Nepal owns half. No one really talks about Tenzing Norway, and I think that put a salty, taste in their mouth. And so, from what I hear, and so I don't know. I think there's some of that. There's some this is our mountain, and we go first, which I respect. But like, don't cut my line. You know what I mean? Don't push me in.
What was the vibe with them? Because I always felt like you're hiring these guys to help you summit.
It's 50-50. Some guys were assholes and some were super nice, and that's just what it is. Like some people were amazing to help, and they cooked amazing soup, and like we joked and laughed and talked about stuff. Some wanted to come over to America and like test out the farm and stuff. And some were just like cold shoulder. And so, but I also think that's Africa wasn't like that. South America was kind of like that. Antarctica wasn't, because no one lives in Antarctica, so everyone's from everywhere. But look, I think that was just a vibe. And I mean, that's not the main reason I won't go back. I'm just not going back to Everest because I don't like the food. The food's not good. I love food, and there's no good food. It's freezing. People are dying. I was away for 60 days. There was a lot of negatives, but hey, I also got to stand at the top of the world, and there was a lot of positives. So
yeah, no, I think it's totally impressive. I mean, listen, I appreciate you coming out here.
I appreciate you.
To the opening of the Strength Club.
Yes.
Guys, if you don't know who he is, which I'm sure all of you do, it's Devon Levesque. Where could people find you? What do you got coming up? What are you cooking up right now?
Find me on YouTube. We're going to start. We got some new stuff coming out. Find me on Instagram and wherever. And find me at Sweet Honey Farm. I'm there every day. And
when can we expect Nashville and Denver?
Nashville maybe this year.
Okay.
But, I say this year, and then it's always 6 months later. So
you had told me about it so many times, and Marty and so many guys were like, hey, you gotta come down to the farm. And I'm like, yeah, I'll eventually get down there. The day I went, I got the invite to the Pro Mix event.
Yeah.
I went down and I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. It's like right in my backyard.
Yeah.
It's in Jersey, so close enough to the city. And I'm like, this will be good. This will be a fun little experience.
Yeah, you're a founding member. I appreciate you being a part of it.
I appreciate you coming by, sipping some whiskey with us.
Let me have a little
guys,
sip.
definitely
subscribe.
And follow two of us, because we're going to keep doing this stuff. Hopefully we'll have a couple more events coming up with Pro Mix, Devin, myself, Strong New York. And also September 27th, we booked Strong New York, so I hope to see you there.
Yeah, we're doing it.
We'll have a big showing.
I can't wait. Yeah. It's Strong New York. If you're not there, you're square.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.
Thanks. Dude, how was that?
Killed it.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
We could rip all day. It's easy.